So I settled the ministry in Grand Junction. And I still don't have a credit card, don't have a bank account, living off the cash, doing itinerant meetings, and decide that I need to stay in Grand Junction for a while. And so I ran my office out of the Village Inn restaurant. That's where I met people. Went there every day. And this one day, I'm there in the back booth, and I'm writing a little letter that I'm going to publish. And this woman walks in with 3 kids and 2 old folks. And they sit down in this long table right across from me. And I'm looking at this woman, and I'm captivated by her. You know, she was wearing jeans, had on a Western red shirt, nothing fancy, but her spirit and her appearance just attracted me. And I'm looking at the kids. Well, now the spirit starts talking to me about amazing. You got to realize, I'm not looking for a woman. I've had it with all of that, you know, me and you, Jesus. But I realize she no longer has a husband. Those are the parents of her ex-husband. And I'm getting a readout on her humble, kind, loving, fresh spirit. And so it took me out of what I was doing. And I said, Lord, I don't know what it is about this woman, but if there's something I'm supposed to do for her to help her, then you're going to have to bring her to me, because I'm not going to introduce myself. So I left. About 3 months later, the ministry team, my children, 3 guys in the team with me, we went to this Dallas home concert. 3,000 people. We sat on the front row. And so the concert goes on, music is over, they have an altar call, and people start coming forward. And I notice out of the corner of my eye, this woman in jeans and a red shirt is going toward the front. I didn't recognize her at that time. But my oldest son, Brandon, got up to get saved again. He was like 7 or 8 or something. And I was wanting to go because we had ministry things we're doing in a little mountain town about an hour away. So we missed him. He goes forward. They take him into the back room to do the prayer and the track thing and all of that. So I go out in the foyer and sat down and waited. And so 3,000 people are filing out, and there's a little group of people stand in line to talk to me, because people start recognizing who I am. And so they're talking to me. Well, next thing I know, this woman is standing right in front of me, and she's like, do I know you? And I looked at her and I said, no. And when I said, no, I don't think so, it dawned on me, my God, it's the woman. It's the woman in Village Inn with the kids. And well, about that time, her eyes got about that big, and she goes, oh, well, no, I'm sorry. I said, oh, wait a minute. So I drew out a little bit, and I realized I was being quickened by the Spirit. She was being quickened to leave, and I was trying to rope her in. And so I said, look, why don't we have coffee? And I happened to be, the restaurant that I picked was just across the tracks from where she lived. And so we had breakfast the next day. And of course, my team is watching me make a date with this woman, trying to say, well, Gene's lost his mind. But had about an hour and a half, 2-hour breakfast with her. And my God, she started dumping all her philosophy on me and all her psychology. And all that stuff. And she'd give me a belief over here, and I'd say, well, that's fine. I said, but the Word says this. And we didn't argue, we didn't contend. I began to see also that she was a musician. So I was doing ministry around the valley, so I asked her if she wanted to come and sing for me. And so we left, gave her the little Christian hug. She got in her little car, drove away. I got in my van. I sat behind the wheel. I said, Lord Jesus, I thank you that I'm not married to that woman. I said, my whole ministry would go to her. I mean, I saw what a loving woman and caring and everything, but my goodness, she was so troubled with so many things. Long story short, I married a woman. And not only did not all my ministry go to her, God created a ministry in her that goes not only to me and my team, but now over 1,500,000 subscribers to our meetings. And the little boy, funny guy, funny kid, he'd ride around the neighborhood in his little three-wheeler. And so the team would go, like Sunday mornings to breakfast at Cece's little apartment. And she'd make, wonderful breakfast for us. And Dan was just thrilled that he had these men come into his life, and me, he could see there was something going on with his mom and I. And so he used to ride around the neighborhood, and all the neighbors would say, where do you live? Oh, I live down there. My mom and my sisters, but I don't have a father. And when we came into his life, about a week or so afterwards, now he's riding around the neighborhood. He says, I didn't have a dad, now I have 3. Telling the neighbors, got 3 dads living with his mom. Wasn't the case. Funny kid. But what a joy. And, when I told my team what was going on with the woman, it wasn't Cece, it wasn't Cecile, it was the woman. Told them all what was going on. We were doing a crusade in a little mountain town called Paonia. And my team's sitting on up getting ready to do the meeting. There's several hundred people around and coming to an outdoor meeting. And one of the leaders looks over and says, I see the woman's there. And they're kind of kidding me about it at this point. I turned to him and I said, well, who would marry a woman with 4 kids? And I was joking. It was strictly a joke. I didn't quite know how to respond. He turned me serious as a heart attack. He looked at me and said, hey, her children need a father too. And man, no more jokes. You know what? I was all in.